Hmm. Hi, this is Stacia, and we're going to take a look at a training game that I play in chess.com. This is part of my effort to get to 1800 on chess.com. I took a fell down the mountain a little bit, and I'm trying to get back over 1700, which is disappointing, sure, but is a normal part of the improvement curve. So if you are trying to improve at chess yourself, it's important not to get too discouraged when things don't go according to plan, and to simply be persistent. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to keep playing until I reach 1700 and 1800. Okay, I'm not giving up ever. So let's have a look at the game. Whoa, did not mean to skip to the end like that. Sorry. And let's begin. So it opened with the move 1e4. Just checking to make sure you guys see what I see. Yes, you do. Okay. So this game I was rated 1670, and my opponent was rated 1681 from Russia. So probably a Russian schoolboy. Okay, c5 is played, and this is the Sicilian defense, and I like to play d4 here. Hey, you always want to get d4 in the Sicilian, so let's just play it now. Okay, and then c3. So I'm going for a Smith-Morra Gambit. He did not take the pawn. He waited with this move, which I have seen quite a bit. Here I play knight f3 because now if they want to take the pawn, no problem. We have transposed into a Smith-Morra Gambit, accepted, but he played e5. Yeah, and this move, I don't think I've ever seen this move in this exact position before. So I'm looking at the opening book. Yeah, it's good for black. So e5 is third most common, and usually they take here. They usually take, but they also play bishop c4, which is, I think, what I did in the game. So let's follow that. And then they play bishop e7, and then we take. Okay, so let's compare that to what happened in the game. I played knight f3, he went e5, and yeah, bishop c4. I mean, so I'm holding on to my dream of playing a Smith-Morra Gambit, because if he takes and we take, now I actually have an improved version with the pawn on e5. This allows for moves like queen b3, maybe knight g5. Like, it can get really difficult for black to play. Usually black can hold with perfect defense, but yeah, you don't want to play that as black. So my opponent correctly played a different move, knight to f6. Yeah, and it's at this point, I have to worry about my e-pawn a little bit. Now, I'm pretty set on gambiting a pawn one way or another, so I might just sacrifice it. That's what I do these days, but so here, I decided to go ahead and take, and he did take with a pawn. And let's see what the engine says about this, actually. The engine likes knight g5. So I think this would go into like a two knights defense sort of thing, because black has d5. Because I looked at this briefly. I thought after d5 I would have to take with a pawn. They could probably play knight a5 just like in the two knights. Yeah, this is bishop e5 check. There's no c6, so that's interesting. So bishop d7 would have to be played. And then the computer wants queen e2 or queen a4. Queen a4 I kind of like. Queen a4 is saying, like, go ahead and take my bishop, I'll check. And now you just lost because your knight can't return here, and this is a fork. So that's really cute. Of course, black doesn't have to take though. They could just play bishop e7 or something. And they should be okay here. This is curious though. Like if I take, they cannot really take with a queen. Because if queen takes knight. So they would have to take with the knight. And even though I sort of like this for white, the computer says black's slightly better here. I guess my knight's hanging and black has pawns, and yeah. Complex position for sure. Interesting. I hope I don't dive too far into the rabbit hole. You guys can tell me if I do, but I will be honest with you. I do these videos for me more than you guys. Like, I'm basically taking you on my journey with me. This is my real game analysis. Okay. So take. So, I mean, it's hard to be unhappy when black's pawn structure looks like this. So I think I could sack a pawn if I want to. And so I definitely thought about maybe just castling here, you know? Like just castle and say, hey, take my pawn if you want. Like I'll play rook e1, the knight's pinned, you're gonna have to play stuff like f5. I don't know. It's a way to play. Let's put it that way. And I did play knight takes. Now a move I didn't consider here that the computer is giving is queen b3. It just took it away. It likes knight takes better now, but this move is interesting. I thought maybe d5 though. Is d5 possible? No, it's not. There's no d5, but there is knight a5 though. Okay, so on knight a5, what we have to do is look at if we check and the king comes up, then where do we put our queen? Because our queen's under attack. And if we don't have a space, then that move might lose. And I don't think we do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we don't. Like, okay, like knight a5 here. I think I'm lost now. Or just worse. Yeah, computer says worse. I have to play queen d3 because, you know, this square's covered, this square's covered, and everything's covered. So the bishop will be lost. That's the point. You do have to watch out. That has been a theme. I've seen this many times now in the Smith-Morra Gambit where that knight a5 thing occurs. You're like, ooh, I get to take on f7, and then you're like, oh, wait, I'm lost. Like, I have to sacrifice my bishop by force. Okay. So I decided to take here, which I thought was a good move, like, because I don't think this is good for him. Like, don't do this. But I thought he could take the pawn. And if he did this, I was planning something. What was I planning? I think just castles. I was planning castles. Computer says that black is better after d5. Yeah, I didn't really see this, which I really should see. It looks pretty obvious. But you know, this is a game of chess. This pawn is isolated. So, I mean, to me, it's a game of chess. I have better development. It might be trickier for black than what the computer is saying, because the computer doesn't care if it's tricky. Okay. So, yeah, instead of that, he did check me here on the b4 square. Now, I'd really like to play bishop d2, but that would hang my knight. But then I realized, if I play bishop d2 and he takes my knight, I take the bishop. And I thought that might actually be good. So I went ahead with bishop d2. Computer does like knight c3 better, but you know, we are allowing this. And now our pawns are wrecked. but probably the computer likes the bishop pair for white. This is a fairly open position. The bishops will have a say in an open position. But I did go with this move. Actually says black's better now. Let's see why. He took, I think I have to take with a queen now. And then he castled. But here, he could take the pawn. I saw this move too, like he takes it and it's a tempo on the queen. So I did lose a tempo here. Wow, and the best move is knight takes c6, which I probably wouldn't consider. It's a counterattack. But this allows black to fix their pawns too. So like I wouldn't consider that move. So let's see, what would I normally play? Let's see why this is bad. I mean, queen f4 looks perfectly natural. You know, we're attacking f7. Computer says, we castle. Oh, I can't take the knight. Look. That's part of it. I thought it was kind of a fork. But I cannot take the knight, so I would probably castle here. Almost certainly. The computer says queen takes e4 is the best move, so something bad is going to happen. That's what that means. All right, so if I castle d5, okay, that would attack the bishop. Bishop b3. So what is the big deal here? Oh, my knight's hanging. How long was my knight hanging for? A long time. Okay, so wow, this is interesting. So after here, castles is a blunder because there's this move, which is actually quite good. It attacks the queen. I have to move. Yeah, and the queen's defending the knight. That's why the computer wants to do this, to get rid of the knight. And let's say we do something that defends the knight. Like, can we play here? This attacks the knight, pins it. Computer says castles again. Tricky, tricky. Rookie 8. Wow. So these are variations that we need to know, you guys. We got to see this ahead of time. I did not see that. I was allowing this move and I thought I'd be fine, but I'm lucky my opponent castled here because now I played knight to c3. That actually defends the pawn a bit. I bet that's the best move. Yeah, it is. And then he played this move. This surprised me. And like, again, my opponents play so quickly. I think they see that I think and they just start making like fast moves. Because my opponent has 15 minutes and I have 12. But at first glance, I didn't think this was a good move and I was correct. So here I can I could play bishop b3 or I could play bishop d5. Bishop d5 allows for a trade of the bishops. That is true. But I reasoned that my knight would come here. And, you know, that's a great spot for the knight. He's never getting kicked out by a pawn ever. There's no pawns here. And I thought if bishop b3, maybe d5 was a move. Yeah, and it is. Computer says white's still better, which I didn't know. But I actually like my move, bishop d5. I'm also saying good luck playing b6, because I'll take your rook. So he took the bishop, which I think is best. But yeah, now my knight is awesome. He's like, you know, what do you call him? He's a fantastic knight. That's what I say. He's a fantastic knight. He can never be kicked out. The only hope is to trade him off, which you know, they either have to do that with the bishop or the knight. Neither one is easy. So he's a fantastic knight. So I have a fantastic knight. B6 was played. He wants to maybe trade him off. I castled. Bishop came here. And yeah, do I want to allow that? I don't think so. But I played knight to f5. So my idea here was I don't want to allow, like, okay, let's say I play a dumb move like h3 that does nothing. I didn't really want to allow this because now I have an isolated pawn as well. Yeah, d4 Stacia is coming out this game, I guess. So I played knight to f5, which I thought is kind of annoying. I mean, a knight on f5 is always good because now maybe I have this move at some point. I don't right now, but I could attack this. And also, if the black bishop takes, I can take with the queen. And this pawn, I could always support it with f3. Yeah, I say never play f3 and then I play every game. Yeah, it's really not a joke. Okay, so this happened. And rook e8 I thought was risky because knight d6. Turns out I was right. Okay, your f pawn is hanging. Now, no doubt my opponent, not my opponent, saw this and he had planned this move rook to e6. Which is clever. I think it's interesting. Now, the computer says it's horrible, but I was in a real game, so it wasn't easy to see why right away. But now f4 becomes very interesting because f4 is a tempo move on the knight. The knight would have to move. But then I have f5 attacking the rook. And the rook is interfering with queen takes f7 check. So I do like all this stuff, so I played f4. It is the best move. He played knight to g4, which kind of caught me off guard. He's like, okay, cool, I'll fork you. And I was like, don't say the f word. No, just kidding. All right, so here I was wondering if I could play knight takes f7. It turns out I can. Okay, I'm turning the engine off for a second. Knight takes f7. Okay, let's think about this. Can we play that move? I know that we can, but why? Knight takes f7, king takes. Well, I guess there's queen f5 check for starters. Yeah. And if knight f6, e5 wins the pinned knight. So we at least get material back there. And then we won f7 and the king's unsafe. So let's look at that and see if I'm right. I'll do it without the engine first. I was thinking this move. Maybe this. Check. That's a fork. So they have to go here. But I then f5. Let's see if the computer agrees. No, it says counter blow, g6. Wow. Yeah, and the position's equal. So let's see what it really is now. So knight to g4, knight takes f7. So king takes should be the critical move. And now f5. Oh, this is so simple. Attack the pinned rook. Wow, so it says that black can't even take this. Wow. You know, I should have seen that. I should have seen that. The whole reason I played f4 was to play f5. Okay, anyway. I think I was still worried about this move. Yeah, I was, actually. I thought this would be the response. But we're actually on the black queen. I kind of missed this. I missed this entirely. Now we take the rook. Wow. Okay, well, I did a Stacia move. When there's a win, I play an improving move, rook f3. Now, rook f3 is still white's better, so that's good to see. I'm turning the engine back off. Okay, so he decided to sack the exchange. I don't blame him. I remember during the game, I thought he probably should. Why did I think that? Oh, because I'm playing f5 next. Yeah, so computer says knight f6. Yeah, I guess that is kind of annoying. I have to keep defending the knight, so queen d3. I still love my position, though. Now it says knight e8. What the? Knight e8, desperately wanting to trade off the knight. Knight f7 doesn't work now because I'm not pinning the rook to the queen. So I should go back to knight f5. Wow. And then we play chess from here. Okay. And white's better, but it's a game. Instead, my opponent sacked the exchange, so I accepted. Queen h4. I mean, I call this a low-rated player move. If it had a second threat, I would think different, but I don't know why I can't just play h3 here or f5. Both look totally fine, and I played f5 so that my queen defends the checkmate. The knight came back. Yeah, and here, I don't think my move was the best, but I was under 5 minutes. Yeah, e5 the computer wants. If e5, I thought he could come back. But I could play h6. Yeah, kind of like this. Then he could trade this, though. I can't take this because that would be check. Oh, I can take it. It's check. Oh, that's the point. Is that after all that, I take a check. And there is no mate because they have to get out of check first. Okay, interesting. Okay, but in the game, knight f6, queen here. He did not want to trade queens, which I think he should have. Computer agrees. Because this queen does not have a lot of squares. Rook d1. I knew I put myself in a pin, but it was either rook d1 or rook f1. Let's see what the computer wanted. e5. Or rook d1. Okay, rook d1's good. Rook to e8. And now it says e5, which I don't understand. e5. Attacking the knight. I guess I do understand. Where does the knight go? If here, rook h3. There's no way to keep defending him. Yeah, this is the best move. Wow. Yeah, I should have played e5. Okay. But in the game, did I actually play it? I did play it. I already forgot the game. Okay, he did play knight g4. And wow. Yeah, I saw rook h3 later. That's the thing. I took the pawn pretty quickly. I was like, well, you know, that's why I played rook d1. Yeah, I'm pretty committed to my plans, I realized. I should look around the board more before I continue with the plan. definitely taking note of that. Okay, h6. Now rook h3, queen g5 is the only move. That's why they played h6. And I took. Yeah, and I have to admit, my conversion was not that great, but I think I've learned enough, so I'm going to go quickly. Yeah, this part was tricky. Check. I thought it might be a draw here. Soon, because of this move. This is unfortunate. Skewering the B pawn, winning the G pawn, or if I go here, there's a fork. So this is very unfortunate, but I went here with an idea. Yeah, I thought I could play king e3. You take my rook, I take your rook. And I thought I'd be slightly better. Computer says it's just a dead draw though. So I really did mess this up. What was the blunder? I'm looking. Oh, it's this move. How is that possible? I have to go king d1. Ugh. Do not want to go king d1. King d1's winning though. Okay, I thought he'd take something. If here I have this move, I knew that much. But why can't he take this? That looks pretty good. But then rook g3. Okay, now I'm skewering. And then by the way, I'm going to have a lot of play. And it's winning, apparently. It's hard to know that during a game, that is a winning idea. Like I saw the idea and I thought, okay, I'm slightly better. You know, computer's like +3, you're winning. Okay, instead I allowed this, but he did not, he played for more. He played rook takes g2. And now my rook's under attack, so I moved it and took a pawn. He took my pawn. Yeah, now rook g3. Now I really, you know, I thought this plan is good. So he pushed it. King f4. Rook defends the knight. I don't like this move check, but I had 20 seconds left. I thought I should play something else. Yeah, computer wants rook b3. I saw this move afterwards. But rook b3 is nice because if they take, then we have a rook versus a knight. But if they don't take, we're skewering. So knight g6. Nom nom nom. Yeah, and surprisingly, my opponent actually let their clock run out from here. So I think they should play on. Knights are very tricky pieces. All they need is one fork to draw or win. But here, the computer says check me, which is what I thought, and I was worried about this. If I go up, I mean, they can check me more, is what I thought. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd eventually have to go here. They can't do that one. And then, I don't know what they should do. I mean, it's annoying at least, right? Like I'm getting checked. Like stop checking me. I could go here, attack the rook, maybe this. But eventually I will win because I'm up material. So, okay, I want to go back now and look at the key moves of this game quickly. Do you guys see that? Okay. Yeah, it says that was the last book move. Didn't like bishop d7. So it turns out I was right that you can play it, but it doesn't result in a good position. I forget why. And I should do this, but that's also that's not desirable. I actually am okay with the bishop move. Okay, it liked taking there, but that's normal. Yeah, it doesn't like rook f3 because here I have f5. Or no, I have knight takes first, then f5. Yeah. This wins, so I should have done that. All right, next. Says that's a game changer. Okay. Yeah, that's a Stacia move. I should play e5. e5's crushing. This is tricky. I mean, you have to calculate because if here, mate's threatened again. If here, they could start taking. But now that I move this, I am defending mate again. And then if I take it and they take, I thought I couldn't take here because I don't want to get checkmated, but this is with check now. This pawn is no longer here, so I missed that in my calculation. Okay, chess is hard. What can you say? Queen h5. Okay. Key moments. Let's continue. Yeah, and that's a blunder. It allows the draw. It allows this draw. I have to go king d1. I'm not going to find that with 20 seconds left or whatever I had. But I did manage to get the win, so I'm not happy with my conversion, but I'm happy with the win. So thanks for watching this game. That's some points towards 1700 again, so I'll be playing more. Stay tuned for more chess. All right, bye.